Hey YouTube comic book community, this is Philgamesh. I thought I would go ahead and get a start on the incredibly massive half off back issue sale from Halloween and the weekend just after Halloween. Uh, I'm gonna have to break this up into several videos because this haul was so massive that I wanted to show a friend of mine the stuff that I got, and I couldn't just take it over to his place. I actually had to put it all in a short box and take it over there. That's how much stuff I got. But anyway, I thought I would start. Most of this video is going to be Marvel stuff. I just thought I would show this at the beginning, this issue of Lady Death. It's just a random issue. I just happened to find it while I was flipping through the boxes. I think it's Lady Death, The Odyssey #3. I could be mistaken about the title of the miniseries. I'm not entirely sure. It's not on the front cover. But I never actually bought a Lady Death comic before, but I remember back in the day, back in like 93, 94, when I was getting Wizard magazine, they would always publish artwork from Lady Death, and lots of Stephen Hughes artwork. And I wasn't into it at the time. And I saw this, they had it for $3, which means I got it for $1.50. So I thought, why not? It was the only one that was in there, and I remember this particular piece of artwork from promotional materials. So I just went ahead and grabbed it. I figured, why not? But the rest of this part of the haul is going to be Marvel books. I figured maybe it would be appropriate for today since we just got the news that Stan Lee passed away, which is, very sad. But we can certainly celebrate his life by showing off a bunch of books from Marvel Comics. So, first up, we got Spider-Woman #4. This is a Dave Cockrum cover. I kind of like to put together a run of the original Spider-Woman series. I've got a bunch of it, but I didn't have this one. This happens to be a bondage cover. I'm sure that's not the reason I got it, but and I'm sure that's not the reason I got issue 6 either. Anyway, this is a Carmine Infantino cover. Very cool, guest starring Werewolf by Night. They were both pretty inexpensive, so I went ahead and grabbed them. Moving on, grabbed Captain America #208. This is from the Jack Kirby run. This is the first appearance of Arnim Zola. Captain America 359. This is the cameo appearance of Crossbones. 360, of course, is the money book, but that one wasn't in the bins, so I had to settle for this one. I grabbed Silver Surfer #1 from the 1980s series, where they went on to do all the stuff like the Return of Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, all that stuff. So this is an interesting series. I'd like to get more of it. I have some of it, but I'd definitely like to get more. And Silver Surfer, definitely one of those characters that Stan Lee helped create. And speaking of those, Fantastic Four #140. I can't remember whose video I saw this in, but I saw it somewhere like shortly before Halloween. This is the origin of Annihilus, and a lot of people have been speculating that he might show up in the MCU. So you never know, but this would be a cool book to have if he does. I grabbed this Moon Knight Special Edition #1. I believe this book is just reprints, but it's got a really sweet Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and it was super cheap. I got it for $2, so I can hardly complain about that. I also picked up this Moon Knight #1. This is first solo series. Not his first solo story. That would be Marvel Spotlight 28, but this is his first solo series. It's a beautiful near mint copy. Got it for $20, so I cannot complain about that. I filled in this hole in my Uncanny X-Men run, 210. I didn't have this issue. It's a really sweet John Romita Jr. cover. This one goes for some money. So like they had it for 24 bucks, so I got it for 12. It's a near mint copy. It's really gorgeous. And I think that was the only book up until like the 230s that let's see, probably somewhere from the 160s up to the 230s I have a full run now that I have this issue. All right, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 3. The only other issue from this run I have is number 1. Yeah, I love these Steranko covers. They're absolutely beautiful. This is one of the best ones. They had, I think it's issue number 7 is like the Salvador Dali cover, but it was a little bit lower grade, so I decided to pass on that one and get this one instead. They had this at a 7.0. I got it for 20 bucks, which is a great deal. It's a beautiful cover. I'd love to get all the Steranko Nick Fury stuff, and I'd like to get his Captain America stuff too, because there's a lot of great stuff in that run as well. Alright. Moving on to some Spider-Man. Got Spectacular Spider-Man number 107. This is from the Peter David run. This is the first appearance of Sin Eater. This might be from the Death of Jean DeWolf storyline. I'm not entirely sure. But that's a great book. I was surprised they only had priced it at $5 because it usually goes for a little bit more than that. So I got it for $2.50. Pretty nice. I was actually surprised they priced this high. They priced it at 20 bucks. So I got it for 10. Amazing Spider-Man 400. The quote-unquote death of Aunt May. Now she's a character who personally I think she's kind of outlived her usefulness. I don't think Peter Parker really needs her anymore, and it's kind of creepy the way they just keep her around. I don't know. I mean, everybody can have their own opinion about that, I guess, but I think it would probably be good for the character, maybe help him grow a little bit if they actually for real killed off Aunt May. And not by, you know, having some supervillain kill her or anything, but just old age. You know, it happens to the best of us. It happened to Stan Lee, and if we're lucky, that's how we'll all go. Anyway, not to be morbid. So let's move on to the celebration. Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 21. Super happy to have this. I've never owned this issue before. This is the civilian cover as opposed to the superhero cover. I've never owned either one, and so I'm really happy to have this. It's great. It's a very fine plus, near mint minus copy. It looks really good. The last Spider-Man book I got, Amazing Spider-Man number 102, the second appearance of Morbius. I got this for $15. They had it at a 5.0. It looks really nice. There's no real creasing on the cover. The spine is, I mean, it's one of the more square bound-ish issues. It's a thicker book. And the spine is okay. It's not like flattened or anything. The only problem with it is that it's got a lot of like blue ink along the spine. This top corner is kind of busted a little bit, and there's some more blue ink like along the edge of the pages along the top. Otherwise, it's in pretty decent shape. So I was really happy to get that at a really great price. Especially since Morbius is really hot right now. Alright, grabbed Conan number 14. I would love to get the entire Barry Windsor-Smith run of this book. I think 23 is the only one I actually have. I'd love to get the whole thing. This is the, well, at least before this sale, 23 was the only one I had. I don't know, this is the first appearance of Elric in the Conan book. It's not his first appearance in comics. And I don't know if he ever showed up again in the book, but it's still kind of cool that he's here. This Michael Moorcock's fantasy novel protagonist. I guess they got the rights to use him in the comics. They had this at a 6.0. There's somebody wrote a date in pencil on the cover here, and there's a few more pencil marks. Some stress around the staple here, but otherwise it looks really nice. There's maybe a slight crease down here, but it looks pretty good. I also picked up Conan number 24, the first full appearance of Red Sonja. They had this at $50. I got it for $25. It's at 8.0. They had one copy that was nicer. They had it for, I think it was $75, and they didn't want to let that go for half price, so I decided to get this one instead. It's got the beginnings of a spine roll, but it's not that bad, and it probably could be corrected if necessary. And otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. Gorgeous Barry Winsor-Smith cover. First time Red Sonja shows up on the cover of the comic. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, and the last book that I got from Marvel is from the original Ghost Rider series, issue number 81. This is the last issue. It's a near mint copy. It looks really amazing. It's got, it's a black cover, and there's no creases, no spine ticks. It looks beautiful. So anyway, the demon leaves Johnny Blaze in this issue, and he disappears for a few years until he shows back up again, I think in the second Ghost Rider series in the 90s as a supporting character. So anyway, that was my haul for, at least for now. Those were the Marvel books that I got. I'll move on and do some DC, because I got a lot more DC than Marvel, actually. Alright, so that was it. I'll see everybody in the next video. Y'all take care.